Going into 2022, could we see a Star Trek Enterprise revival and or a Captain Archer show? I am mainly saying this due to the fact that Scott Bakula's show NCIS New Orleans is coming to an end this May. And before I made this, I saw articles posted days before NCIS New Orleans announced that it was ending, that Scott Bakula was more than likely going to return to Star Trek in some capacity. And they were predicting as a cameo on one of the shows that are currently on, such as Discovery, Picard, and the new show Strange New Worlds, or even Lower Decks maybe. But they were saying that Bakula was already in talks to reprise his role as Captain Archer in some capacity, more than likely in a cameo role in one of the current shows. But this already has me wondering, this is already coming out a few days before NCIS New Orleans was announced that it was ending. So could it be that yes, he's in talks to have a cameo of some sorts for one of those shows right now, but being that the show that he currently is on is ending, could CBS and Star Trek already kind of be lining up with them to try to make a Star Trek Enterprise revival and or a Captain Archer standalone series, kind of like a Picard show, but about Captain Archer? And this has me very, very excited because there is a lot of story to tell with Captain Archer, going to be Admiral Archer, and then eventually I believe he becomes the president of the Federation. There is a lot of story to cover, and it's perfect. Scott Bakula has been employed by CBS multiple times now through Enterprise and NCIS. They obviously get along with one another. He's already in-house. Don't let him leave CBS, Paramount, whatever you want to call him these days. He's already there. Work something out. A lot of fans want to see him return in some capacity and actually have a somewhat better ending to Enterprise. At the very least, bring a lot of the characters back in some capacity, especially with Captain Archer, and see how his life kind of progresses going forward. And I think this is honestly a great idea because he has so much more story to tell compared to, let's say, the Picard show. It has its moments. Of course, I love seeing Captain Picard on screen, but his story has pretty much been told in a lot of ways. There's just only a little bit left to tell. Captain Archer has a ton of story left to tell, and Scott Bakula is in great shape. He still looks really good for his age, and he can fall back in that role to be Captain Archer very, very easily. It wouldn't be a stretch to believe that he's, 15, 20 years older and is still very active. He still looks great for his age, and there's a lot of story to tell for Captain Archer, even past his days as a captain. You can do a lot of stuff with him as an admiral and eventually the Federation president. There's a lot of stuff to tell that we just don't know, and I think a lot of fans want to see, because believe it or not, there are fans of Captain Archer and Star Trek Enterprise. The show gets way too much hate. I made a whole video about it. It's probably linked above as a card, or I'll try to link it below. It's on my channel, my Star Trek playlist at the very least. The show gets way too much hate. It didn't get a true ending, and I think this would be an awesome way to show, as the Star Trek head executive people can show Star Trek fans, hey, we're actually listening to you. We do hear you. We think this is a great opportunity to actually kind of give Enterprise some closure and also show off one of our better characters that doesn't have a true ending like a lot of the other characters do. Like I keep saying, there's a lot more stories to tell that are very interesting with Captain Archer compared to, say, Picard. A lot of his stories, most of his stories have been told. There's not much left. Same way with a lot of characters on a lot of Star Trek shows. Pretty much all their stories pretty much have been told to this point, and they're pretty much book-ended. Where with Archer, yes, these things, these landmark things that happen in his life, such as being the Federation president, becoming an admiral, and so forth, but it'd be very interesting to see it along the way, see the struggles and stuff. And I think Bakula at his age right now could pull that off so perfectly. I would love to see an aged Captain Archer a little bit, an aged Admiral Archer or President Archer. You could really do a lot with this. You could have more than one season with this, no problems. And of course, if Scott Bakula is down, this is all dependent on that. But you could do a lot of different things. If CBS and Star Trek don't try to go through with this, at least to some capacity, I think they'll be missing out on a huge, huge opportunity to kind of bring back some older Trek fans and also build this out in the new Trek universe, whatever you want to call it. I know it's technically the same prime timeline, but Star Trek has changed very much since Discovery premiered, and I think this is a good way to show off some more of the old, but also not enough where it's going to interfere with our beloved Star Trek, such as like the original series and TNG. There's a lot you can show with Archer. You can cover a lot of time period that is never covered in Star Trek, just like when Enterprise did premiere. There's all the back end of Archer's life that you can show, and I think it would be very interesting to watch because it's still doing a lot of Star Trek things, but you can have a little bit more on top of it. You can get even more interpersonal with Archer's character, kind of like they've done with Picard, and you can really dig into his psyche and see where he is at certain parts of his life, and it would just be fascinating to see. And of course, you can have some fan service, have some cameos of characters that are beloved from Enterprise. Bring back Hoshi, bring back Mayweather, Reed, Trip if you can somehow. I don't know. I know they deal away with him in the finale. I don't want to spoil too much. Bring back T'Pol. Somehow just figure all that out. You can have some nice cameos, and you can just make this work really well. I know I'm just kind of off on a tangent, kind of just going off the cuff right now talking about this, but at the end of the day, I really think Star Trek would be missing a huge opportunity if they don't really jump on this, especially since Bakula technically will be unemployed once NCIS New Orleans ends, and this is the perfect opportunity to do a more aged and more weathered Archer. I just see it being really good, and they can do a lot with it, and if they don't do it, I'm going to be kind of sad, and it would just be a wasted opportunity at this point in Bakula's career and also where Star Trek is right now. So what are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Do you want to see a Captain Archer show, a Star Trek Enterprise revival of some sorts? Let me know it down below, and while you're down there, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, guys, everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching.